first couple of races for Cooper Webb on Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha have been a little rough, but he's only had a couple weeks on the bike, so we don't know exactly what's limiting him right now. He's actually placed the exact same position in both Chicago and Charlotte, finishing 8-7, well, actually 8th overall in Charlotte, 7th overall in Chicago. Either way, he finished 8-7 in both races. We didn't really know what's holding him back. He hasn't been very descriptive as to what he needs to learn on. After Charlotte, Webb had claimed that he was riding tight. He was just a little uncomfortable, not used to the bike. That's why he was falling back through the pack. Now, in Chicago, it was a whole different story. It sounds like he was plagued with stomach issues, which obviously limited his performance. Webb claimed that after such a steep learning weekend in Charlotte, he was determined to move forward at Chicagoland. However, he was struck with sickness on Saturday. This ultimately held him back. He qualified 12th, and as I said, finished 8-7. But he did run as high as 4th place in the second moto, so that was pretty good for him. Either way, the sickness held him back. Cooper Webb spoke on this saying, quote, "Today was a very rough day for me. I woke up this morning with some kind of sickness and didn't feel well all day. I had stomach issues and I just felt like crap. I slept as much as I could today. It was just a really rough day." Cooper Webb went on to say, quote, "The first moto I started where I finished and I didn't ride great. In the second one, I got a little bit better start and rode a little bit better, but I didn't have the energy and the flow at all. It's definitely a day I'd like to forget and move on. We'll go back to work this week, get recovered, and start Supercross prep for next weekend." As of now, Cooper Webb is currently sitting 6th in 450 Super Motocross standings, which on paper isn't that great, but with all things considered, I don't think it's that bad. I mean, he sat out a lot of motocross, so that put him behind in the first place, and then he's only had a couple of weeks on the new bike, so obviously struggling would be expected. Now, coming into Los Angeles, I think Webb will finally get comfortable enough to maybe pull a top 5. I don't think he's going to be regular Cooper Webb by that point, but I think he might have a good enough understanding of the bike to where he can run around top 5 there. Now, next year is going to be a completely different story. I think by the time Webb practices, trains, gets an understanding of the bike, the parts, once he gets all that taken care of over the winter, I think he's going to be hard to beat for sure next year. And it's going to be interesting to see 2 title contenders being teammates as well. I mean, Tomac and Webb both kind of having a comeback of sorts in Supercross in January. It's going to be an interesting one for sure, but overall, Webb's just been struggling a little bit, but that's part of the process, and hopefully the sickness goes away by next week, and maybe we can see Webb finally push up a little higher in the rankings here. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.